Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And that was fast. We did a video last night actually, talking about how DreamWorks was going to lay a bunch of people in LA off, and they're already starting.
Yep.
So they're laying off 70 employees. Now it's only 4%.
Oh, we were a couple days late to get into it.
We were, yeah. But it happened over the weekend, I guess. And now mostly they're getting...
That sucks over the weekend.
It does suck over the weekend. Mostly they're getting rid of their tech workers now. But they have said flat out, animators are going to be on the chopping block because by 2025, they're going to outsource more and more of their animation to outside studios. It's just the reality of it. Now, I am hearing back channel from people working in the industry. I had somebody reach out to me after we put the video up, told me that they are hearing in Hollywood, Burbank, Glendale, that this is by design, that more studios are going to do this because the cost of employees has gone up considerably.
Especially in LA.
Especially in LA. LA is a dumpster fire right now, and they want to get as much out of LA as they can.
Oh crap, other contracts that are coming up soon.
Yep.
And what are they going to ask for?
Yes. So there again, this is the after effect, I think, of unionization, asking for more money, whatever. And those of you who are left, again, will get money, but it's cheaper to just outsource. And there's not much return on investment on a lot of animation. I mean, for every Super Mario, you have a Ruby Gilman, so it's like, and we've got problems. What I'm hearing is that a lot of these people are spending a lot of time on social media, causing the studio problems, and they're not getting their work done.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, but they want paid a ridiculous, they want the moon. They want the moon. They're not
Ironically.
They're not going to get the moon anymore, and they're just going to outsource a lot of it.
But they're fishing for money.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. You get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
No woohoos at DreamWorks. In fact, I would keep your resume updated. What is with
I don't know.
Ice Spice's ass? I don't know.
I don't know either.
So DreamWorks, according to Variety, is undergoing layoffs, cutting 70 staffers from the workforce. And they talked about how they're reorganizing. They said roles affected were across corporate functions, feature, television, and technology departments as part of an overall cost reduction, a spokesperson said. Again, this is phase one. They said by 2025, because they need the animators now. But they said by 2025, they're going to be outsourcing a lot of the animation to overseas.
Not all of it, but some of it, yes.
A lot of it, yeah. I think they're going to test, let me put it to you this way. They're going to test them out to see if it works. And frankly, if they can do your job as well or better than you and cheaper than you and do it without spending all day on Twitter, giving their hot takes on politics and shit and slamming people and trying to cancel people, guess what? You're out of a job. I mean, that's just how it's going to work, right? They said on the horizon from the animation studio, they talk about Trolls band together.
Did you see that? They're going to put NSYNC reuniting to do one of the songs because...
What?
Yeah, because this is like a band thing.
What?
That's funny. They also hired Amy Schumer, so what the hell is up with that? But anyway.
Trolls is more... Like, I watched the first Trolls, and it's morbid. It's like, yes, they're big people that literally want to eat little people.
I think they went to a more fun place after that.
It was like, they just talk about how these giants just want to eat people, so they're happy.
Yeah. Pretty much. But I don't think they do that now so
Eating
much.
people makes you happy.
Honestly, I have not seen any troll movies since then, but I know Pinky Boo watches them.
I thought it was pretty morbid. I was like, wow, that's dark.
Hey, you know what? I don't think it really affected me because I was an 80s kid. We saw a hell of a lot worse.
Well, Gargamel wanted
the same thing. You want to eat the Smurfs or cook the Smurfs.
Boil the Smurfs. And, he's like, he had a fascination with a bunch of these shirtless little men.
Right? And he had to make a woman. It doesn't faze me really because, like I said, I was an 80s kid. That's nothing compared to what we used to watch. So
this actually sounds pretty interesting. Orion in the Dark is an animated comedy they're going to put on Netflix. They've got a new show coming out. Yeah, so this is all the stuff they have coming out here in the near future. But the fact that they're laying people off already, and Twitter is pissed.
Oh, okay. And
Twitter is pissed off because it came.
I thought they were all going to leave Twitter.
I thought they were too. Everybody who said they were going to quit Twitter didn't leave Twitter, including me. I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, you left and you came back.
I left and came. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. I left because I'm like, I don't think much is going to change, whatever. Then they started adding features to it. Then they started kind of doing what I was hoping they were going to do, which is kind of top to bottom, change the platform. And now I'm just kind of staying there out of morbid curiosity. I'm like, if they could get their crap together and make this place worth being here, you know, make it something you can monetize, make it that you can share video easier, make it that you can do all this cool stuff with it, whatever that they promised, I might stick around. You know, plus I'm like, you know what? I kind of like sticking around just because it makes these people angry that I'm there.
That's true.
You know, it's worth it just for that. It's worth it just for that. Anyway, so yeah, they're mad because it came from Cartoon Brew.
Yeah, but I thought everybody liked Cartoon Brew before.
They don't like Cartoon Brew now.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because, you know, when you tell people the truth, they don't like to hear the truth. So that's obviously, that's what happens to us all the time. Like, you're negative. Negativity and honesty are not the same thing. And just because you don't like want to hear something doesn't mean it's not true. You know, they keep saying, well, you're a liar. It's like, no, we were right. Just because you didn't want to hear it doesn't mean it wasn't true.
Yeah, so I don't know why they don't like Cartoon Brew. I've tried to figure this out. I think because they've been realistic. And the thing is, Cartoon Brew's been around for a long time. They were around before the advent of Tumblr. And the guy who runs the site knows a lot of people in the industry. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's not.
And a lot of these boards hate us, by the way.
A lot of these.
I have friends on these boards that are in animation, and they're always talking shit about us.
Oh my God, I've had people.
We're still right, but they still get pissed.
They get pissed that we're right.
And all of you. Yeah. Love ya.
And Cartoon Brew gets it right.
Keep it up, we get money.
You help us get money. Yeah, I've honestly, I've stopped caring if people shit on us because I'm.
Well,
like,
I think half the time it's hilarious to me too because a lot of times what they're talking about isn't even what we said, but they have no clue. But anyway,
because they go these boards and they're like, well, my friend on this board said Clownfish TV eats babies.
It's that same mentality, but now Cartoon Brew's the one getting bullied
because they're crushing their hopes and dreams.
Yes, and you don't want to hear it, so you're obvious. That's impossible.
That can't be real, because I was told if I went to Cal Arts, there'd be a cushy six-figure job waiting for me.
Arts, I should go to Cartoon Network and draw over iconic people's art. But oh wait, they sold the building. Oh,
yeah,
no, they didn't. You're lying.
Well, here's the thing: this guy here lays it out, and this is the truth, and he's 100% right.
Right, but they're gonna hate him because
is working in the animation industry survivable long term anymore? And this is a place where a lot of comic book people were jumping to, was the LA animation scene. He's like, Cartoon Network HQ vanished. The animation world has been hit hard with layoffs.
Yes, this is going to continue.
Blue Sky disappeared. That was Disney. They shut Blue Sky down.
Yep.
Okay. Streaming giants like HBO Max and Netflix are slashing animated series.
But they're still picking up some animated series. But I think that a lot of them are being made other places. But they're like little kid shows. Like, you know, we talked about the other day, like the one about with the Universal Monsters.
Oh yeah, it was like Bat Wheels, but with monsters.
And more Coco Melon and things like that. Because that's what's going to bring them money, and they can sell the toys and make more money.
Coco Melon, I am pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure the people that did Coco Melon had all animated overseas because it was cheap to do it.
Right.
You know, and they would come up with storyboards and they would just have it done overseas. You know, and that's kind of what's going on here. DreamWorks is outsourcing for cost cutting. Is it survivable anymore? No. For most people, it's just going to be
I think it is for some, but it's like any other thing. It's like the ones that are the best, the ones that work, they'll get to keep working.
So, I mean, this is kind of where we go back to, you know, the cream rising to the top. And it's the same with AI art and all this other stuff, which AI is going to be thrown in the mix too.
Oh yeah, that's coming too. So,
they're goodbye in-betweeners, you know.
Yeah, for right or wrong. I mean, it's going to happen. You can't say that though, or you're a horrible person, even though it's the reality of the situation.
The reality of the situation is a lot of the tedious work, the coloring work, the in-between work, the stuff that, you know, you'd be an intern or you would be a new animator and you would work with these experienced people. It's going to be
but you're going to lose that training. Yeah. But I was just going to say though, here's the thing that keeps happening. You're better to acknowledge something and be honest about it and how it's going to impact you, so you can go in eyes wide open. Because what happens is people don't want to hear it, so they pretend like it doesn't exist, and they just keep working around it because they don't want to hear it. And then one day they're going to wake up and it's going to be there, and they could have gone into it knowing it was coming and worked towards being able to be sustainable even with that being there, and they don't do it because they're too busy denying it exists. So don't do that. Eyes wide open.
We have seen this in comics, and to the detriment of many people working in comics, they did not want to acknowledge that the comic book industry was in decline. They did not want to acknowledge that they needed to build a life raft.
The media kept telling them bullshit and lies too because their friends were involved.
Well, that's what they're afraid of. Here is that Cartoon Brew is one of the biggest animation sites out there, and they're telling you, hey, guys, things aren't looking good.
They're trying to save you.
They're trying to sound
the alarm so you pivot or do what you have to do.
Yes. And nobody's saying you can't work as an animator. Nobody's saying you can't work as a creative. In fact, the best people are going to use this as an opportunity to be like, okay, let's be like Vivzy Pop. Let's go do our own thing. And if I want to be a showrunner, I'm going to have to prove myself first that I'm capable.
Right. Or I'm going to figure out what jobs are going to still be working with AI and what can I do to make sure I'm still employable, things like that. Or go to companies that aren't going to use it or whatever. But they're too busy complaining on Twitter.
And that is the problem. My understanding from some people I talked to after we posted that video was part of the reason they're making this decision, okay, beyond the cost cutting, is because their animators and their showrunners are constantly on social media causing them problems. Like you can hear, like sometimes when a showrunner says something stupid on social media, you can hear the money being sucked out of the bank account for whatever it is, whether it's Star Wars or a cartoon show. Hell, they had the one showrunner, and I mentioned her, it was her. I mentioned her the other day. I can't remember what show it was off the top of my head, but it was on Netflix. And she had this big, long Tumblr post about how she was stalking some 14-year-old boy because he was cute and she was like 26 or something.
Wait, that happened a while ago.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, stuff like that. Okay, when you see shit like that happen and you just spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on some show and you've got somebody out there basically just like, hey guys, by the way, I like teenage boys.
That was why before social media it wasn't a big deal because people wouldn't be on social media telling everybody everything about their lives. And now that social media is a thing, there are people who cannot stop talking. But beyond that, they're really mad about something or they want to own the chuds or whatever, and they go onto social media and make it a big deal, which actually causes the company issues.
Well, look, okay, so High Guardian Spice, Crunchyroll. Look at what happened there. Millions.
That was so bad. Here's our trailer, which is like a Kickstarter, thing about diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, that was the thing. And then people actively, tuned out of this show. Well, the people that tuned in for the show when they finally dumped it, but the backlash was severe. When they finally dumped the show, they tuned in just to see what a train wreck it actually was. But they made such a big effing deal about it. We have so many showrunners out there like getting all kinds of articles. So you're under the impression because they've got friends in the media that this show's like the biggest thing ever. Like, oh my God, my LGBTQ plus IA show about transsexual llamas got picked up by Netflix, guys. I can't wait to own the chuds.
Yeah, and then 3 months later, my show
my God, it got canceled. I'm going to be homeless. What am I going to do? I'm like...
And being option isn't the same thing. Anyway, the thing is, it's like, look... they're going to be doing it. And here you're saying that here it said the ones that DreamWorks Animation would lay off 4% of its staff, which isn't too bad. And, again, just because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean that it's untrue. And that's the thing. And I don't know why you would try to argue it's untrue at this point in time when we've been seeing it every other day, like, oh, this studio laid off, that studio laid off. We're seeing it overseas, didn't you say? And they're trying to do some stuff in Japan where they're taxing. Yeah,
apparently, in Japan, and I have to look into this a little bit more. It wasn't worth really doing a video about, but they said that a lot of manga artists and animators are going to be taxed more heavily now, which means that even, using Japan to outsource to Japan is going to be more expensive. But then Japan outsources a lot of its anime to other countries too.
Well, and then that's what they're looking into here. They're looking into what countries are going to give them tax breaks, what countries are going to be economically cheaper because they can take advantage of cheap labor and things like that. And he flat out said that from DreamWorks. Yeah.
So to actually have an executive at one of these progressive companies come right out and say, hey, we can make shit a lot cheaper, by outsourcing it.
Well, I think you're also going to find out that these projects that we were seeing that were like, basically agendas masquerading as cartoons, you might not see them as much because, you have your devoted fans, but it wasn't mainstream enough. People weren't buying the toys. They want things that are more mainstream that they're going to get lots of views from. They're going to make money off of because they can't afford to be, running it as a charity anymore, so people can hire their friends. Shira. And things like that, you might not see as much happen as often because they have to do things that are going to work. Same with Disney. projects that are going to bring people to the theater, bring people to subscription services, going to want to watch these things, and in an amount that's going to be financially, effective, and they can also spin off into other things. And when it comes to DreamWorks, a lot of their projects, they're also looking at using them over at Universal Studios.
Yes, theme park.
Universal Orlando, I know, is putting a whole DreamWorks area in, and they're focusing heavily on Shrek and Kung Fu Panda and Trolls.
Not
and
Ruby Gillman.
Not Ruby Gillman, no.
Now, I don't know. I won't be honest. I don't know if Ruby Gillman was a good movie or not. But the fact that it bombed probably was a huge red flag. Like, we got to start cutting corners here.
I did appreciate that they were like making the bad guy look like Ariel. I appreciate that. That was fun.
That was funny.
So look, I mean, people are sounding the alarm. If you choose to heed it or not is up to you. But sitting there saying it's all a bunch of bullshit when it's clearly not, and there's a proven track record of it, it's probably not a good idea to ignore it.
Yeah. There are people saying that don't be fooled by the better tax situation. They're basically just taking all these jobs.
Right. So they can take American studio money over. Yep. Yes, exactly what's going on. That's why they're sending all these films over there. I know Australia was giving tax breaks. The UK is giving tax breaks. And the thing is, they're bringing all their business to them, and they make money, and then they give them money back.
Yeah.
It's actually really smart on those countries to do that. But, because they're taking all the work. Then I'm seeing comments like this where this person's like, a couple of my friends were laid off from DreamWorks this week. So this is 3 days ago. So this has already been going on. That sums up why they shared that some departments are losing about half its employees. Yeah.
So what we're seeing right now is just the tip of the iceberg. Basically, what's going to happen are these companies, and I think Disney's, which is going to be catastrophic for if Disney decides they're going to outsource, and they tried it before, like Disney Toon Studios in Australia. But if they decide that they're just going to outsource a lot of their animation, that's pretty much it for Western animation. Like, we're not going to have the animation studios like we did for 100 years. They're just going to outsource. They're going to have showrunners over here and storyboard artists, and then they're just going to send it all overseas because it's cheaper.
Yeah. And they get money back for some places.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I look for Pixar to be shut down or consolidated pretty soon.
We've been saying that for a while.
I mean, they're in San Francisco. That's not a good place right now, So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.